Welcome to the Young and Pruitt podcast. This episode is brought to you by Carpy's Custom Screen Printing out of Oleans, New York. They have got in touch with us. They're going to hook us up with a brand new line of t-shirts and hats we got coming along. You can get a hold of them for any custom race shirts you guys have or need, decals, wraps for RC cars, all the original artwork. You can get a hold of them on Facebook, Carpy's Custom Screen Printing, and then on Twitter at Carpy's_co. Be sure to check those guys out. Everything's made in the United States. Like I said, they're out of New York, so get in touch with those guys. Everything's been going great with those guys so far. I sent them up some ideas for some shirts, and they nailed it first time. Like, there wasn't even a revision on it at all. So we got those shirts coming. Keep those guys. I'll keep you guys in touch with that as it goes along. So as soon as they're available, I'll let you guys know. This podcast is also brought to you by youngandpruitt.com. It's the reason why this podcast is here. Whether you're listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube in an audio form, or just straight from the website. Whichever way is easier for you guys. Glad you guys are listening. The Drive with Layla's blog is on there. All the past previous shows are on there. We have the YPP fan forum on there now. Be sure to sign up, get you a membership, start the discussion about your favorite episodes or just anything in general, really. So be sure to check that out, youngandpruitt.com.
Thanks, Derek, for our first partnership at the show. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
We're very, very excited, very proud, hoping to drive you a lot of business.
Yeah, they're very big. Oh, and if you guys do happen to contact them, let them know that you heard about them on the YPP podcast. So that'll help us out there a little bit.
Help us out, help them out, ultimately help you out.
Yeah, they're really big in the RC, little circle track RC cars. So they got a lot of that on their website. They've actually sanctioned or sponsored a couple of races up there. So I know that little niche is pretty big. So I've seen them. There's guys down here at race shops that will go out on break and on lunch, and they'll set up 2x4s or whatever, and in a circle track.
Yeah.
And they'll race them, and they'll have a season. They'll have a league. They'll do points, and then it's just kind of like fantasy football, basically. And then each day they go out there and they, just like they're actually racing.
Wow. And
they got these big gnarly wings, would never be funked. You ever seen one of those late models that tries to set a track record that has a really big?
Yeah.
Was it?
It's on the roof.
Yeah, it's like
a sprint car wing.
A plexiglass wall. You ever seen those?
Yes.
Okay, but they'll go around an 8th mile track at I don't know, 8 seconds.
Yeah,
something crazy. But all the side force you would ever need. But the little RC cars that I've seen, they had those, and it looked pretty fun. I mean, those things get after it. It's just, when it comes to me, I would be balls deep in that.
Yeah.
And I would have to be the best at it, and I would have to that's just a rabbit hole beyond rabbit holes.
What do racers do in their spare time? Race.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So going on this week, we have in non-NASCAR news, kind of NASCAR news, the Chili Bowl Nationals is going on out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. For the people that don't know that, it's the National Midget Championships out there. For those of you that don't know, think of a sprint car that doesn't have a wing on it and has a 4-cylinder engine, 300 to 400 horsepower, and it only weighs 900 pounds. So they get around there pretty good. It's in the River Spirit Expo Center out there, but it's kind of would you consider it the kickoff for the new year, or would you?
Yeah, so in the same light that the Snowball Derby is the biggest late model race of the year, this is kind of a highlight on the midget schedule, and it's obviously attracted NASCAR talent, and to nobody's surprise, there's one guess as to who won night number one.
Yeah, Mr. Kyle Larson, fresh off of a victory down in New Zealand.
Yeah, oh man, he showed him what the deal was. Down
there. So as he should.
From sprint cars to
Kyle Larson.
Midgets, and I mean, he damn near won the Daytona 500 last year, and we're probably going to see that ar running up front most of the race this year. So
was a favorite in the championship last year. He's anything with wheels. That guy's got it.
That's what he does.
But the first night was last night. We were recording this on Wednesday, so this is the second night. Larson won last night, as he should. But to kind of give you a rundown of the notable recent champs, you got Christopher Bell last year, Rico Abreu in 16 and 15, the late Brian Clausen in 14, and then Kevin Swindell spanked him for about 4 years straight in 13, 12, 11, and 10.
Brian Clausen's actually on the entry list.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of
that's cool.
A salute.
Yeah, they said that they were going to induct him into the Hall of Fame also. Notable other winners, Tony Stewart actually won that twice.
Yes.
So not back to back at different times, but I mean it's got a who's who list of drivers. It's super tight. If you wanted to watch it, I think it's on Mav TV.
Yes.
And then there's another racing website that has it on there. I'm not too sure of that right off the top of my head, but it's super small track, super small cars that go really fast.
You want to know the car count?
Go ahead.
357.
Yeah, so it's the full week event, and they race it. You know, they have the features, all that stuff.
I mean, JJ Yaley's in it. Crafton has a ride. Mm-hmm.
Algire's in it. Yeah.
Obviously Larson. I mean, it's pretty significant. Like it pulls the NASCAR guys in pretty good. Well, I mean, a lot of them came from dirt. Chase Briscoe's in it. Who else?
Yeah, I definitely want
to. It's a big handful.
Yeah, I definitely want to go. It's on my bucket list for sure. It's just such a busy time of year.
Yeah.
It's why we don't have a guest on this week or last week, because everyone's just so swamped with just working late hours and trying to get everything together. So it's just, we got to make it through the busy season here, and then we got guests coming up next week and then the week after for sure. And then most notably the big one that has to do with the Olympics should be coming. So yeah, be sure to check out the Chili Bowl. It's fun. It's off season. There's really no other racing going on. The 24 Hours of Daytona is getting ready to kick off. That, to me, that's always been the start of the season. But
I mean, that doesn't, attract any shortage of NASCAR talent either.
No, sure. No.
Ford sent a damn crew down there.
Yeah.
So Briscoe, Majeski, Cindric, Cole Custer.
Wow.
Yeah. They're all sharing a car.
That's a good little team.
Yeah. I think Dinger's back in it this year.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, think about the people who have ran in that race. Senior.
Everyone.
Dale Senior, Dale Junior.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson. Jeff Gordon won it, the prior year?
Mm-hmm. But then if you just go outside of NASCAR, it's literally
you got
everyone.
IndyCar talent. Yes. You got major road race talent.
Mm-hmm.
The Ron Fellows, the Scott Pruitts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big all-star race.
I almost had a chance to pit one of those cars. There was a NASCAR team that had a Mustang. I don't even know what class it was going to be in, but I think I shoulda. I think I coulda. More shoulda than coulda.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been a lot of fun. Just to experience once. That was like 4 years ago, so I was a little bit younger back then. And I'd have been able to do it.
I've been once. If you're a car guy, it's kind of like a religious experience, because like all the manufacturers, all of them had displays down there. So the brand new like Nissan GTR, Corvettes, Camaros, Mustangs, everybody had everything on display. The cars in the infield just camping were absolutely ridiculous. Everything from pro touring to, modded, Euro hypercars. I mean, it was everything in between. Rattle can shitbox drift cars. I mean, everything.
Yeah, and then don't they do the 24 hours of lemons?
Yeah. Now that's something else.
So basically it's just what? It's like whatever kind of old car you can get, right? And then you just try to make it.
I mean, there's...
And don't they start like 500 cars or something like
silly,
that?
Yes.
It's
just something absolutely ridiculous.
Google that if you want a fun time. The 24 hours of lemons. Let's see. Back to...
Ooh. It's barking at me.
Back in NASCAR news, we had our first tire test of the year. 4 drivers were invited. This was at Texas, by the way. Chase Elliott in the brand new Chevy Camaro, which looks badass on the racetrack.
Well, it looked badass. Unfortunately, Mr. Elliott, during the debut of the new ZL1 and the new number 9, had a small mishap in turns 3 and 4. And we now know what a ZL1 looks like with a pancaked right side,
which is pretty common though for Texas.
What you're getting the dust off. It's a fast racetrack. Mm-hmm. It's a new body. It's a new everything. Plus, he's getting after it.
Yeah, you're coming off of 3 and 4 in Texas.
His buddy Blaney's there. Eric Almirola's there in his new 10 ride, and then of course you have MTJ there. So. Yeah, you're kind of forced to put up a quick lap.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the Chevy guy on site.
Yeah, so basically what this is, it's a Goodyear, it's a test for Goodyear. That's why there's only 4 cars invited. So basically you get like 1 from each manufacturer. The teams can basically do whatever they want. But they just got to get all the information back to Goodyear, so it's almost like a free test.
Kind of. I mean, why would you not go? Why would you not participate?
Yeah. So seeing those down there, that's good. Starts to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit. Leaning in. Then they have an actual test. Is it Vegas or Phoenix? An actual car test out there. Which one was it?
I'll have to check.
I want to say it was Vegas.
And I think there's a Truck Series test at Charlotte soon, and there's got to be one for the Xfinity Series.
So that's what everyone's basically doing now.
Yeah.
Everyone's just swamped getting everything ready. There is no off season.
No.
If now everyone's working even more because everyone's in the shop 7 days a week. On some of the smaller teams for sure, everyone's in there 7 days a week.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, there's really no other information from that tire test. You're not going to get times. You're not going to get anything like that from something like that. The Monster deal has been extended. So Monster, when they signed on in December of 16, they signed for 1 year, and apparently they only going to sign for 1 year. They only wanted to sign for 1 year.
Right. And then it eventually broke into a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
But they had to let everybody know by December or like November what their plans were moving forward. Well, Monster requested more time. And that was a rumor. And then it finally got confirmed today on the record that they were in fact extended to look, and all of the numbers were above what Monster wanted. All the metrics are through the roof, so it's just a matter of how do you make it better and how do you make it worth their while.
Yeah, so this is not necessarily
so it's not a bad thing necessarily. It's they're figuring out. I mean, it comes down to it. NASCAR probably cut them a sweetheart deal. Now they're trying to figure out ways to justify a higher spend. And Monster's trying to figure out a way for that to make sense. And that's essentially what this is.
So it's just all fine print stuff.
It's the back and forth. It's just a negotiation process. You don't want to give them the farm, and you don't want them to go away. So you have to find that little
and this is
line.
This is both sides.
This is both sides. So NASCAR wants their money. Monster wants their value. Where's the middle line? That's what this is.
I think they've done a great job.
I think it can continue to grow.
Yeah.
And now that they're talking about having a hosted, e-racing series at the racetrack.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's that. I mean, they had MMA fights.
Bellator MMA stuff.
They had, motorcycle and
smoke
trophy
shows.
truck displays. So, I mean, the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, they are great. Just for the whole entertainment value of it, the stuff that they bring, the stuff that we just talked about, the MMA, the smoke shows, which is just bunch of cars doing burnouts and a bunch of dirt bikes doing wheelies. The pre-race for the All-Star race was awesome.
Yeah,
if you were there in person, that was great. Doing wheelies and the big introductions and I remember saying that's how you put on a show. That's a show. That's something to get you hyped and get you excited.
And that's year one.
Yeah.
Now that they have an idea as to what they can do with it, there's a lot more they can do with it.
Yeah, it's just everything's just cool about it. That trophy that they designed was
massive.
Crazy cool. Huge. Very expensive.
Yeah.
But that was a great original design to incorporate all the racetracks and to have their little silhouettes in it. Huge trophy. But just stuff like that. Just a little attention to detail and putting their stamp on everything. And everything's just cool.
Right.
They're an energy drink. It has to be cool.
That's what they do.
Yeah. And not only that, but I'd like to know the metric or the stats on the youth people that were brought in because of it. Because that's really where all this matters.
Absolutely.
You have a more youthful brand to bring new, younger fans in that could potentially be fans for many years to come.
Right.
That's huge.
See, I think one of the biggest things that is probably not being talked about openly is NASCAR is at a point where they have to look at the sport and say, how do we lose, for lack of a better term, the quote-unquote Southern redneck stigma, which obviously we all know that's not true. That's not what the sport is. It's maybe where it came from. It's not what it is. How do we do that? And how do we connect with today's college students? How do we connect with today's youth? So they're probably going through a lot, along with Monster, to say, hey, we have to strip what it was at probably the loss of many to move this thing forward and keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing that came out of the tire test today was Ryan Blaney going at lunchtime, buying fans pizza, hugging people, taking pictures with them, signing autographs, having conversations with them in his driver's suit with his long ass hair and his mustache and his sunglasses on, and genuinely hanging out and spending time with all the fans that came out to see tire test.
Yeah.
Holy shit, how big do we need that?
It's huge.
It's huge. And it's really going to come down to, we got just too big for ourselves. People stopped caring. People became too big of superstars.
Yeah.
People retracted. It kind of shrunk the sport. And I'll say it to this day, Sprint was here 5 years too long. And we're all thankful for the money they spent, but they put such a different twist on the sport and just took it away from what its roots were. And I think you have to go back to that type of person who can resonate with the fan base. And the world's changed, and you have to change with it. But when you got young guys like Ryan Blaney who are driving for salaries that are way cheaper than Joey and Brad and Jimmy and Kyle and Kurt are driving for, out here buying people pizza and hanging out with people. That's not because he had to do it. He wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And I know he wanted to do that because I had dinner or lunch with his PR guy today who was like, oh, here's some ideas. Ian, being the professional he is. And Ryan's like, man, I want this to be simple. And Ian said that's the best thing you can do.
I think that he's going to be the next quote, quote, people's champ.
Absolutely.
Or he definitely has the potential to it.
I mean, I want to see Chase Elliott and Bubba out there. I want to see all those guys out there doing the same thing where they can in their hometowns. Get
the genuine, wholesome part back into the sport. I think Junior. I think when Junior was here, everyone just kind of let him take care of it.
Right.
You know, like,
he was
all
the
the other
that
drivers was like, you know, okay, everyone cares about Junior, let Junior handle it. But the problem is he was too big that he couldn't do anything.
Right.
Like his hauler has a bathroom in it because he can't leave to go to the bathroom because he'll get stopped all the time.
Right.
So it's just kind of like everyone else was just kind of like, okay, well, everyone's here to see Junior. Junior's got it. Well, now he's gone.
You know? And I think that's okay.
AE after Earnhardt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So now there's this vacuum, and I think the guys that are willing, you know, to do different things, you know, the Blaneys, Chris Buescher at Bristol last year.
Yeah.
When it flooded, you know, he went out there with his truck and helped move campers and get people out of the flooded ground.
Right.
You know, so like stuff like that. You know,
Brad
like
Keselowski going out in the infield signing stuff.
Yeah.
Giving people Miller.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch randomly going during Xfinity races. Like, this stuff exists, you know. Why is this not more publicized? But I mean, really, when you have this, like you said, the giant vacuum that Earnhardt Jr. is leaving behind, it's going to take a lot of people to fill it. But I think that's better for everybody.
Yeah. It's going to get more people involved because
now they have more people to reach out and touch.
Yeah, and they have the opportunity to.
Right.
Because, and this is the best time to do it because right now all these fans are going, okay, who do I root for? Who do I root for?
Right. And Blaney's showing you that there's still people there worth showing up and watching at the racetrack. Yep. It's something we know. It's not to say Harvick doesn't have a gigantic fan base or Hamlin or either Busch. Does, yeah. I mean, they have cult followings.
Yeah.
Paul Menard has a cult following. All you know, people love Landon Castle. Matt DiBenedetto is probably the best at interacting with fans.
Yeah,
online.
there's I think there's a couple different ways that you can break that down as far as there's the personality, there's the performance, and then there's on-track conflicts.
Yeah.
That's what's going to drive the fans. You know, you're going to have like the personality of a Blaney or an Earnhardt. You're going to have the performance of a Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's a great guy. He might just be a little bit too clean cut for some people. You know, a little bit too machine-like, I guess you could say. But super nice guy, but is just a killer out on the racetrack. So then you have that.
Well,
you know,
another thing I like about Jimmy Johnson is if you're a fitness athlete and that's what you do, and you want to be like, well, NASCAR doesn't really have that. You have somebody to root for. If you run marathons, you can like Jimmy Johnson.
Yes.
He does marathons too.
Yep. Josh Weiss there for the longest time.
He's Ironmans.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Kane's a runner. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of guys. You know, what I'm saying is there's somebody out there for pretty much anybody that can root for.
Yeah. That
connects directly to what their hobbies and their interests and what their times are. There's gamers. A lot of these guys I race like crazy.
Yeah, Tony Stewart.
Oh, man. His outtakes are the best because it's like just pure Tony.
Jumping on there, yelling at these kids.
Shut the fuck up. You act like you're pros.
Yeah. Putting them in their place. Like, who's this guy at Tony Stewart or at Smoke? Like, wait a second. Yes, sir. And then after you get back past all that, then you got the on-track conflicts. Then you have the Kenseth versus Logano. Then you have Elliott versus Hamlin. You have stuff like that that's that polarizing.
I think that Elliott-Hamlin feud is going to be the best thing we have. I don't think it's going to be over.
I don't think it's over either.
I mean, Logano, Kyle Busch.
Yep.
Probably not over.
Kyle Busch versus damn near everybody.
Kyle Busch versus everybody.
Yeah.
But the best
Kyle
thing
Busch
about that is he's so comfortable in that position.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't
care.
Yeah.
And that takes balls, man. Like,
yeah, he does.
Kyle Busch is going to get 200 NASCAR wins, without a doubt.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
Yep. And he'll
get his 100th Xfinity win this year.
Oh yeah,
I would put money on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So he'll get the Xfinity wins. He'll get the Cup wins to equal the 200 that they say could rival Richard Petty, because back in Petty's day, they raced all the time.
Right.
So the only way to make it equal to that, the only way anybody's ever going to reach 200,
right,
is if
to win in truck Xfinity.
Yes, you have to
Cup.
count it as true NASCAR wins. You know, but call it what you will. I don't know if that's, to me, it's an equal feat,
right?
Because that's the only way that you can even get anything to compare it to. Because if you just say Cup wins, well, they're racing all the time,
right?
Cup is now only 36, 38 weekends a year,
right? You could win every race for 6 years straight, and then do what Richard Petty did.
Ugh.
If you want to do like a 1-to-1 comparison.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
Never.
Ever. Yeah, hopefully the Monster deal comes back through. Would love to see them to come back. I think the partnership is perfect. I think I got very excited when that whole thing came down. As soon as I heard that, Monster, because I heard that there was going to be a couple other big time companies that was going to sponsor the series, and I was like, meh, more of the same, boring. Then I heard Monster, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
We got something.
Hold on.
Well, I mean, at that point, it was very important to find not somebody who could pay the most, but was like a really good marketing partner.
Yeah.
And Monster just fits that bill perfectly.
They're in everything.
Everything.
Bull riding.
I mean, I watched the Anaheim Supercross.
Yeah, well known for the Supercross. But they're doing it's Monster Energy PBRs or now, I think.
Yes.
So they're everywhere. Any extreme sport, they're always right there. That against the Red Bulls and the Rock Stars if they're still around. I don't even
My
remember.
only qualm is they're not going to have the Atlanta Supercross on the same weekend as the Atlanta race anymore. It's kind of a bum deal. We'll all be in Vegas.
Oh, we will.
When they're in Atlanta.
Are one of 2 trips to Vegas this year.
Yes.
Since we go there twice.
So they're twice. All 3 series there for both events.
Mm-hmm. That's fun. I mean, it's Vegas. You stay there. That's
you're there for work.
Yeah, you're there for work, which is good.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the garage that probably need the tighter leash there.
Yeah. Which would be any business. But
I mean, hell, that's why you go.
Yeah, you're there for about 4. If you're on the road crew, you're there for 4 nights to 2 nights, which is plenty. Because the buffets get expensive after a while.
Yes.
But it's definitely fun, different. You get to go out and spend a couple extra nights with your friends at a fun place. Everyone's all excited just to be out there in general. So other news coming down, the Clash roster's been set. That would be the race, but it used to be the Bud Shootout.
Yes.
Then it was the Sprint
Unlimited.
Sprint Unlimited, and then now it's the Monster Clash at Daytona. You have the 14 pole winners from last year. You have 3 previous Daytona pole winners in Dillon, Johnson, and Danica, and then you have the 3 playoff drivers last year, Kane, McMurray, and Newman. So you're looking at 20 drivers. So, roughly half the field.
And that's if Danica gets a ride.
Yeah, she's in there. Which I think she probably will. I don't think that they're going to let that go to waste.
It's hard to say because it's all money, right?
Yeah.
It's all dying.
And it's an exhibition race, so she could be in whatever number.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Yeah, it can be anybody, anywhere. The whole 4-team deal doesn't matter. It's an exhibition race. So she can just go out there, and I mean, it could be her own car.
Right.
Doesn't matter. But she's allotted in. That one's always fun. We did it last year, and that was a good fun time. Being at night and that first initial race. It's going to be pretty exciting this year because we're going to see how those pit stops work out. I think that's going to be the most watched race by pit crew guys ever. Because I know I'm going to be glued to the tube watching, seeing how these guys are going to be doing it because we're not invited. So
and you're not on the entry list, can you still go?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a NASCAR event. Yeah. Yeah, all the other teams are down there anyway.
Right.
Because they're going through pole day.
Oh, yeah.
Pole day's the next day, and then you have the duel at Daytona.
Then all y'all guys are going to be out there on pit road.
Yep.
They fly y'all down.
Yep.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm. So you got the duel A and duel B Thursday night, and then leading into the truck race the next day, and then the ARCA and Xfinity ARCA races before the Clash.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The week prior.
Yeah, the week prior. And then the Xfinity, and then the 500.
Also known as the Bobby Gearhart 200.
Yeah, he kills it. He's that's one of those specialist teams that only run the big money races and go out there and put hurt on everybody. How many times he's won? 8 times?
It's something silly.
I think it's 8. Look that up. I gotta go. Bathroom.
Bobby Gearhart, ARCA wins Daytona.
That's the first time I've had to do that in a while. While we're recording.
It's all good.
What'd you come up with?
All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. 6, 7, 8. Another 3-peat. Yeah, 8. 8.
Look at me go.
With 2 3-peats.
I mean, at the one place where it's the hardest to win, 1. Killing it. Killing the game. He's the guy to follow. Or have behind you.
Right.
For damn sure.
Or if you don't know what you're doing, you can at least go and figure it out.
Yeah.
Watching the guy. Yeah, that's wild. 8 wins, 2 3-peats. Never made the Daytona 500, ironically.
Really?
Tried 5 times, and then he's qualified 3 times for the Xfinity race, and
I think I've actually pitted for him in the Xfinity race.
2 times in the truck.
Yeah, I think I actually did that in 13, I think. Wow. It's one of those one-off deals that I remember doing. Yeah.
Total of 9 ARCA wins.
Only 9. He's got 9 ARCA wins, 8 at Daytona.
And 1 at, of course, Talladega. So, yeah, he's the restrictor plate hero.
Yeah, and it's not for the lack of... I mean, for him to be in the Cup race, that's not for lack of experience.
No, I mean, you got to have a car to get in it.
Yeah.
And you can't do that out of your own garage anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, that just goes to show this is a team sport.
You can win 8 times at Daytona in the ARCA series and still not qualify for the Daytona 500.
Yep.
That should tell you the entire story. When people were like, oh, they gave him this. No. Nobody's given anything. Mm-mm. Yes, there's some sketch cautions. Yes, everybody knows their sketch. Yes, stage racing has got rid of a lot of those things, so that's at least one thing we have to give the nod to.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that sketchiness comes from the whole man in the moon type thing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where that comes. Like if you look for a problem, you'll find
it's
it.
There, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's where a lot of that comes from. And a lot of it's, either for or against Junior motivated usually.
Right.
Is what they always, they're just trying to help Junior or hey, yeah, they're helping Junior. It's
my favorite
silly.
is fan theory. We used to get these awesome emails from random fans. Some of them incredibly well put together with a lot of thought. Just there's no business model that would support it. There were some that you would get at like 11:57 p.m. after the race. That's like, fuck everybody in your organization. We hate you. This one lady, Petty used to email us like every Sunday at the same time and just lay it out.
Really?
I hate Eric. I hate Brian, Sam Hornish Jr., Mark Ambrose.
I like how you give her a southern accent.
Well, I mean, you just have to kind of put it. Sometimes she would send us letters.
Handwritten?
Handwritten.
Wow.
When you receive a handwritten motherfucking, like, you mean something.
Yeah.
Because I'm not handwriting shit. Like, at all. Like, so I close on my house
Barely
tomorrow.
sign my name anymore.
Yeah, like, I'm closing on my house tomorrow. I signed like 40-something documents, and then most of them were, signed online, like e-signed on like a PDF.
Yeah, and that's the thing about all those electronic signatures and stuff. Like, they're all like garbage compared to like it's like I wrote it or someone from Cambodia wrote it. Like, it doesn't make a difference.
The only way they give it to you is you have a unique login and password, and that's the only way that they can really say it's you.
Yeah, and then the password changes, and then when you go to change your password, it can't be previous password.
I have a really nice pin that one of our sponsors gave me when I was in Atlanta at the all agency meeting that I'm going to sign my closing papers with tomorrow. It's pretty slick.
Nice. You got it there in the old baggy bag?
I do. I pulled it out. I kept it in the.
This must be a special one. I mean, I got a pin that has a knife in it, but
yeah, I kept it in its casing and everything, and he gave it to me after he found out that I was going to close, and he's like, "You have to use this pin to sign your closing day," and I said, "I will do that for you."
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's even got the little...
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. It's even got the little emblem on the clip.
Oh, it's the real deal.
And then does it...
Pull the cap off? It's one of those.
Dang. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a big dick swinger move when you show up to your closing with your own custom pin.
Sitting here describing a pin on a podcast.
No, Mr. Lawyer. I don't need your Home Depot special.
I remember
when
we signed our mortgage for our house. We signed papers with the bank that we had the mortgage from, and we're sitting there flipping through, and then we sign all these papers with one bank, and then she's like, "Oh, sorry, your loan's already been sold to another bank. You have to sign these. Those really don't matter now, but you still had to sign them." And then we had to sign this whole other stack for this different bank.
Your loan's already been sold. Bitch, I'm sitting here. I don't have my key yet.
Yes, that's exactly. Like, we both looked at each other like, what? She's like, oh, yeah, it happens all the time. Really?
Can you not?
Like, but we still had to sign all that. Yeah, you still had to sign all that stuff. Ugh. Which to me, like, I've never understood all that bank stuff. Selling loans and moving stuff around. And
oh, man. It's silly.
Endless.
They already sold mine.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Well, I don't even think they sold it. I think they're just almost like a commercial storefront in a sense for another branch. Like a federal.
That's probably what a lot of it has to do with.
A lot of it is. So they make their cut by either selling it or getting, like I used a credit union, and the reason I went through them is because I've been with them for forever. And I wanted just to streamline all the bill paying and have everything on one dashboard. And then, I gave them the chance to, compete against the other ones to get the best interest rate, and it worked out in my favor. Mm-hmm. But they're like, yeah, like it even says in the paperwork, like we plan on selling and transferring your loan. Like we'll still service it, but like it's going to be taken care of by somebody else.
So you'll still pay
everything will still come through my bank account, and I'll still have access to it through my online banking. But
that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
In other NASCAR news, our little buddy RTJ is moving up.
Yes,
he's with Colleague.
Yeah,
Colleague Racing.
So he started that 2 years ago. He's been a sponsor of Blake Cook.
Yeah, it's the leaf gutter guard.
Leaf guard, leaf filter.
Yeah.
Leaf filter.
Yes.
So I think they were with TriStar initially, and then they left and kind of started his own race team off the RCR campus, and they've got like the full RCR package. And I mean, Blake put him in the chase, like damn near brought him to Homestead.
Both years, right?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like this was a bad running car, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, motorsports is entertainment business, keyword business. And Blake had a good run and developed a great relationship and put this team in the position that it's in. And I think you really have to respect what he's done and been able to do, not only as developing as a driver, but helping develop this team into a competitive unit.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, money's got to come from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want teams on the racetrack, sometimes a driver who shows up with his own funding, discovered and sourced and sold and serviced by himself and his business team, will get that ride.
Mm-hmm.
And good for College Racing. Hopefully Blake ends up somewhere.
Well, there's talks of if they can fund it, they're going to have 2 cars.
Yeah.
And obviously Blake is going to be one of the first choices for that car.
He would be the natural fit. He already knows everybody. Mm-hmm. So,
but
hopefully it works out that way.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we wish both of them the best of luck. They said that RTJ is bringing over the Bar Harbor sponsorship, so that's going to be on
Mike
the car.
And Cindy are fantastic people. So Mike Cote was the CEO / founder of Bar Harbor Foods.
Okay.
So how that deal worked is Sea-Watch International is Ryan's dad's company that he built from, and this, man, I've had to get on people at Reddit who are like, well, this is dad's company. First, if you don't know anything about the clamming operation,
Clam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clams.
You should go and figure out how that all works, because you can't just go and be like, oh, I'm going to get 1 billion clams. No, you have clamming rights.
Ooh, really?
So
it's not like a season?
No, so it's like getting deer. You can't go and shoot unlimited deer, can you?
No.
Well, you can't go and just fish unlimited clams. So you have to get other people's rights and buy up their operations and grow and grow and grow that way, piecing it together. So he's had to not only outlast the industry and be able to grow, but he's had to be able to come up with funding to go and buy other people's operations who weren't financially stable.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm very interested to know about how that whole process goes on.
No, man, he grew this from a napkin on a table to a 35 or 36 ship operation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy deal. So I mean, he worked hard, and then got to the point where he could buy a retail operation, which was Bar Harbor Foods, which is,
And that's the 2 people that you were just talking about.
Yeah, so they still act as the CEO and the CMO,
mm-hmm.
The people that were there from the beginning.
Got it.
So, I mean, they have a house up in Maine, and they have their summer home down in Florida, and they still operate.
Ballin'.
And they do everything, and they do well. And the motorsports, most importantly, out of this entire conversation that I'm having right now, the motorsports program is helping them grow their retail business.
Really?
Within grocery stores. So the HEB,
I will say that I never paid attention to it until I seen it on his truck.
Right.
And then I was walking through Food Lion.
I seen
it up on the shelf, and I was like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Publix. Yeah, it's all over.
That's good.
So the HEB truck, that was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That was a B2B Bar Harbor deal. Albertsons, B2B.
Nice.
So all those deals that you saw on that 16 truck last year.
And I keep calling him RTJ. I'm talking about Ryan Truex.
Ryan Truex, yes. Ryan Truex is who we're referring to. He hates it when he gets called Junior.
Yeah, I say MTJ just because that's what everyone, or not MTJ, RTJ, because we call his older brother Martin Truex Jr., who is the junior.
Right.
Everyone calls him MTJ, so to kind of be funny and play on the whole deal, I call him RTJ.
Right.
But he is not a junior. Clearly, he's not a junior.
And he thinks it's hilarious / awful when people tag him on Twitter or people put his name wrong.
But do you think that that's kind of like one of those Mandela effects? Or is it?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because, I mean, honestly, Ryan's one of the best guys out there. Right now in his age range.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now that he's had a full season in truck and he's going to have his first full season in Xfinity and
absolutely.
A complete RCR supported car.
Him making the playoffs last year came down to a tiebreaker.
Right.
They figured out it was a lap at Pocono.
Yeah, that's all it was.
So
and Rhodes got in and he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that close. But, I mean, people forget Ryan is an excellent plate track racer. Excellent.
And he had a string of, like, he should have been in. Like, if it wasn't for bad luck, they wouldn't have had any luck at all.
No, we had a tough summer last year.
Had some engine blows.
So we had trouble. We got
caught up in other people's shit.
He got blown engine at Iowa, which is really what hurt. Got taken out at Kentucky. There was just a whole string there in like June, July that really just messed him up. And then Eldora ended up having mud puncture his grill, and he was running top 10. So, I mean, it was like a string of just bad luck.
Yeah, and he was always in the top 5 when...
I mean, it was always...
It's just like, ugh.
So he's gone out and proven that he can do it.
Yeah.
And, a single car team under the pressure...
Yeah.
And not having the best equipment. So now I think he's even in a better situation this year, and you're likely to see him running up front and probably win a race or two.
Yeah, especially with some good cars in the Xfinity Series going away.
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to be follow the leader with Gibbs anyway.
Yeah.
But
the RCR package is great.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you can go up and do it.
Yeah, you have Gibbs, juniors, and then RCR.
I mean, hell, Brian Scott came off the bench and ran top 5.
Yeah.
Almost won Kentucky.
Yes.
So, I mean, and we saw what Sam Hornish was able to do. Like, so, I mean, if you got talent and you can get in a good car in the Xfinity Series, the possibilities are limitless. Hell, Christopher Bell in a handful of starts went and got one.
Yeah. Ryan Priest
went and got one.
Yes.
So, I mean,
a 1 of 2 races.
Yeah.
So there's
a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah,
it's a slow part of the year, but that's big news for everybody because he's a very likable character, easy to work with. He's another one of those guys that can go out and be an all-star amongst the fans, just like Blaney does.
Yeah, because he's got my type of sense of humor.
He's so dry. He'll crack a joke and he'll never even change his facial expression or anything. And it'll be like 5 minutes later, and you'll be like, damn it, he got
those shirts that he made, the Go Ryan shirts that he like basically hand drawn.
So like literally hours after his announcement was made, you already had people on Reddit making their own version of the Go Ryan shirt
with the Xfinity car.
With the Xfinity car in the 11, yeah. So awesome. It's fantastic.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, wish him the best. That's fun. That's really the only NASCAR news related that we got. I mean, again, it's the off season. Everyone's got their noses down working. Chili Bowl, be sure to check that out. But there was one thing completely off topic that I wanted to talk to you about.
Let's hear it.
They've figured out in Australia, I just heard this while I was listening to a podcast. Researchers have found out that in Australia, these hawks, raptors, whatever you want to call them, are flying down next to a wildfire, okay? And they're picking up sticks that are on fire. And then they're flying over to a part that's not on fire, and they're dropping the burning stick into the not burning bush and setting it on fire to drive out rats and mice and what other little things that they can eat.
So there's an Instagram account online that...
The Nature's Metal?
Yeah, Nature's Metal.
Yeah.
That just... Mother Nature is brutal.
But they're dinosaurs, man. And now they're going to catch you on fire. And like to the point to where they think that it's the third cause of like fires. So you have nature, humans, and then now these other animals.
Well, look at there was another study done with a raven that they gave them like a handful of random objects to solve a puzzle, and then the raven like used sticks and stones and stuff to like solve the puzzle. So like there's like, actually a lot of cognitive, deep, like in-depth thought.
And then they said what the first ever animal to ask a question, because that's always like been like the big divide between us and animals. We have the ability to ask questions. Like you can teach a gorilla or a chimp sign language. They've never asked you a question. They can respond to stuff, but they're not going to ask you like, how are you? Like they won't do that. but apparently there was a parrot that they taught how to speak some way. It was one of those, super smart talking parrots or whatever. And he asked a question, I guess, I don't know, he kind of looked in the mirror or whatever, and he asked if he was the color gray. So they're saying like that was the first time that anything had ever asked a question outside of us.
We should all, right now, thank the lucky stars that ants and octopuses don't have opposable thumbs. Because we would be so fucked.
Well, yeah, there's that one for the...
I, for one, would like to welcome our new ant overlords.
There's that one that was going around Facebook that said, if all the spiders work together, they'd have
Stop.
Oh.
I'm already having nightmares.
Are you arachnophobic?
I hate them.
Really? You don't like spiders?
Fuck spiders. Fuck ticks. Fuck centipedes. Definitely fuck centipedes.
Yeah.
Scorpions. Ugh.
Yeah?
They're mega ants with stingers.
What about snakes?
Claws. I'm not Adam Murphy scared of snakes. Shout out to Murph.
I stepped over a snake right over here yesterday. Because it was like 75 degrees for whatever reason.
Yeah, that was strange.
But there was a
9 all week.
There was a leaf. My daughter was the one that seen it. I was on the phone. I stepped right over it. It was one of those little like brown ground snakes or whatever. I mean, just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
But he was wrapped around in a leaf in the sun. And I came in. She's like, "Hey, there's a snake out there." And I went back out and it was gone.
Huh.
So,
yeah, I don't hate snakes the way I hate the other stuff, but like, please believe I do hate the other stuff.
The only thing that I'm phobic of is I have that tryptophobia.
Oh, like the holes.
The holes. Ugh, gosh.
So I used to tell people in college, just as like an icebreaker, when they're like, "Hey, what are you scared of?" I'm like a tornado made of spiders.
Like the ones in Australia or wherever that's at, where it just rains spiders.
Yes, it's just like, no, I don't want any. Like, number one, tornadoes are just terrifying because they're like just ruthless. It doesn't matter about anything because it's just, a random assembly of wind that just destroys everything. And if you had that laced with spiders, which I have to believe are also soulless, it's just awful.
So the script you're going to start working on is going to be Spider-Nado?
No, because I would have nightmares first page in. When you always have to have the mind-blowing intro to the movies, right?
Yeah, but wasn't that like Edgar Allan Poe's thing? Like he didn't want to be buried alive, but then in all of his books it was like always written about being buried alive or something like that. Wasn't that his thing?
I mean, probably.
Something
like the Telltale Heart.
Yeah, it's like how he coped with it or whatever.
Possibly. I just don't want to cope with anything like that.
Yeah, but I'm phobic against like was it the lotus seed pods?
Oh yeah,
or whatever those.
When they do the photoshops to put them on people's like knees and stuff.
Yes, God, those are just like, ugh. And then well, hell, even Cold Hard Art on his Instagram.
Oh yeah,
he was making a bowl out of like valve spring retainers, like little circle valve spring retainers, and he was making a bowl out of them. And I was like, like I even had to comment. I was like, dude, like warn a guy. Like that's, it's just the weirdest.
We got to get Tom on the show.
Spot. Yes,
Tom
yes, we do.
Is an absolute artist who is a motorsports fanatic and a NASCAR historian.
Yeah, for if you're at a place right now, stop what you're doing and throw up Instagram and look up at Cold Hard Art and look at this guy's stuff. It is crazy.
So Tom was a fabricator at Don Schumacher Racing, which is the Hendrick Motorsports.
That's how you know him.
That's how I know him. So when I knew him, Tom was just starting out. He was taking stuff out of the recycling bin or the trash can, with permission, of course, and creating artwork for people.
So this is like a side business while he was working.
This is a complete side business that he did outside of the race shop. Eventually it grew and grew and grew. His name has got across all platforms of motorsports. Mm-hmm. So he builds art for everybody. Rick Hendrick, Roger Penske, big IndyCar names. Mm-hmm. I mean, trophy truck replicas, everything.
Yeah, if you remember last year, I think it was for the finale in Homestead, he made that big 88, that big metal 88.
Yes.
For Junior. So, and it showed him like parts of him building it. But if you got a good memory, that's the guy.
So some of my buddies over at Stock Car Steel and Aluminum have sponsored him
Really?
to give him raw materials to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, his art business has grown. He quit Schumacher Racing, opened up his own art studio in the same business park.
Wow.
And if you look at his social media, like, he still hangs out with Antron Brown and everybody else. So
he's just like us being in.
Tom's cool. Well, he was with Antron when he was a pro stock motorcycle racer.
Mm-hmm. That's when I remember him as.
Yeah, and now he's top fuel champion.
Huh.
But Tom's an interesting cat. He's a quirky dude, nice as can be.
Definitely need to get him on the show.
Loves racing.
If he's ever back down here, we need to get him.
I think he'll probably be back down here. And, if we could bait him with shop tours and a little bit of sheet metal.
Yeah. Get him to come down. We got a seat for you, Tom, whenever you're ready.
He's a big Ernie Irvan fan.
Really?
Loves it.
Yeah, definitely have to get him down. But you can contact him and he'll put little one-off custom pieces. Like if you want him to build anything. This guy's. Just scroll down through his Instagram. And
like he does like metal roses for like Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
he does like one-off Christmas gifts. He got the Christmas trees, not actual Christmas trees, but like a replica of like the lighting system at the drag strip that he builds out of like valves. Mm-hmm. So there's tons of stuff.
And that's just barely scratching the surface.
Right.
It's
insane.
He made a shotgun not too long ago.
Yeah, the detail that goes into it is just absurd.
Yeah, it's great. It's
yes,
good stuff.
We are a commercial right now for Tom Patsis, but the dude is that.
He deserves it.
He deserves it. He is that talented.
He deserves it. I always see the spark plug ball.
Yeah, those are awesome.
The
F-bomb.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we definitely need to get those in there. One of those spark plug balls in here. But yeah, be sure to go over and check this out. Yeah, this is definitely a commercial for him right now, but definitely holler at that guy. Just give him a scroll through and check everything out.
2-scale, 1-to-1 billet Legos is his latest thing.
Legos.
And it's stuff like that all the time.
Now that's someone who's got it figured out.
Yeah.
And I mean got it figured out as they're living, they turned their hobby into their job.
He took his like stunt bike and outfitted the skinnies of a dragster.
Yes, that's stupid. Yeah, that's cool.
He's got a custom motorcycle that he built. Just everything.
Yeah, I think I sent him have him make me a little jack.
Yeah.
A little jack or something. That's the only thing, because I'm sitting there like every time I see him, like, what would I have him make me? And then I was like, like I said, a deer antlers maybe, a jack, something along those lines. Like I don't know, like an arrow maybe. I don't know, something that I do. I mean, he can't make me weights.
Right.
I mean, he could.
He could.
I mean, I guess it'd be neat to have like some big diesel piston dumbbells.
Well, if we ever need those,
yeah,
we know they got to call.
So, what you got, man? You got anything else?
That's it. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Wanted to get a little episode together for everybody to help break up the we won't call it the off season, the preseason. Yeah. And definitely wanted to get our Carpies announcement out there.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks again, Derek.
Yes, thank you guys for helping us out. Be sure to go over there. Carpies Custom Screen Printing. It's kind of a mouthful. We found out earlier.
We have probably a good 2 minutes of awful attempts to say that in a professional manner.
Yeah, and then the shock and the wide-eyed look that we gave each other, like, that's a tongue twister. Like, oh no.
I got it. I do not got it.
I do not got it. No, wait. Oh, look, you do it. But yeah, super happy to have those guys on board. Love the new stuff. Gonna let everyone see that when those are available. I might sneak them out here later next week. Give everyone a time to listen to this and stuff. But definitely gonna have those available. Shirts and hats at first. Any special requests, let us know. At Young and Pruitt on Twitter and Instagram.
I mean, it is custom screen printing, so anything can be done.
Yeah.
Anything will be done.
Yeah. Anything you have formatted, just send them their way. They can do, like I said, the shirts, the decals, the RC car wraps. Sky's the limit on that stuff with the original artwork. American made.
American made.
Doesn't get any better than that. It's American made. It's American company made here.
Entrepreneur does it his own self, his own deal. If he's good enough for our podcast, if he can do 25 one-offs, he can do 2,500 one-offs. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Give him a ring.
So, really excited news with that. There's really no other news other than that.
That's it. We got our guest lined up for next week.
Yep. That's really gonna be a fun one. He's I've known him for a while. And then the guest after him is going to be real fun.
He's one of our former associates at Richard Petty Motorsports.
Yes. And he's
give us a lot of
pretty big in the go-kart industry, I hear.
Pretty big in the go-kart industry.
Pretty big deal, that guy.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to those.
It's funny you say that. My boss actually has his shifter cart at our shop, and I was sending GCJ is what we'll call him, or GKJ, whatever. Sending him pics. I'm like, who do I need to talk to about making this fun to play with? I got a GoPro. And he's like, I'm at his house right now, as you would believe. I'm like, of course you are. Of course you are. But he's also a master body man.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll give you some insight on how it's been done for years, and then when it started changing the bodies, and then probably what the carbon composite bodies are going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a big one. I'm probably going to learn me something on that episode for sure.
Well, that's a big part of it. And everything that Timmy Petchek did at Petty,
yeah,
this guy was the guy who put the nice gloss blue finish on it.
Yep. Sprayed her down. Thank you guys for listening to this one. Have guests lined up like we were just talking about. Got those guests coming up next week. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Young and Pruitt. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and audio form. It's just a video with audio. And then you can find me at JackmanZach on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find me at Tall Guy Turbo on Twitter and Instagram.
And see you guys later.
See ya.